All right, folks, Mr. Fortin here. I just said goodbye to you, first block today. So I said I was going to film a video just kind of taking you through the rest of this here. Most people got to here, right? It looks like we have most people around here. Slides 9 and slides 10. So I want to make sure you know how to do those because those are some new skills today. Ultimately, the goal of this assignment is to get equations in this form. Y equals mx plus b. That is the goal. And I'm going to take you through some ways where you can find this stuff. This is the way that I think is kind of easiest in these ones to figure out what m is, which is the slope. We got to figure out what the slope is in all these situations here. All these we're given some stuff, some points, or maybe we're given the slope and have it already. And then we also need to find the y-intercept. We need to find b. And sometimes we don't know those things right away. Sometimes we're just given a set of points here, right? Given a set of points here. And these are all points of the form x comma y, right? X comma y. That's how we write coordinates. So we have a point here at 12 comma 27. We have another point here at 16 comma 35. Oops, didn't have this here, 16 comma 35. And the reason why I'm showing you this way, the reason why I'm showing this to you is because if you have 2 points on a graph, right, think about it, you have a couple points on the graph, you can draw a line, right? You can connect those points, and if you connect them and keep going, then that represents a line. A linear function is if we take 2 points and we run a line in between them continuously, that's a linear function here. So if we have 2 points, luckily we have more than this, we have 4 points. So later they're gonna say if, right, we were given 4 points, do we need all 4 points to get them? No, we just need 2 points to get the equation because 2 points is gonna be enough to get the slope, okay, get the slope, and we're going to finish that now. So if you remember slope here, this is how you can get the slope nice and quickly, and we'll go through it. I'm going to do this one now. The next one we'll do faster so you can see if you can kind of follow what I did here and be like, did I understand that? I'm not sure. And then we'll do even faster at the very bottom here. Let me actually give you the slope in the last one here so it's a little bit easier. Okay, so let's use this information to figure out what our slope is here. So naturally, you can mark up a table, figure out what the slope is pretty easily. Here, we don't have a table, so it's a little bit harder. It's a little bit harder here. Okay, so one thing that I'm going to recommend about slope for you guys here is this. Slope is the letter m, but it also has a formula. We've talked about that one. Where we see slope, a lot of people said it was at the beginning of the assignment today. Slope is delta y over delta x, okay? Change in y over change in x, okay? Here's how you can get it for 2 points. Okay, 2 points. So this is in a table. I'm going to show you the 2 points method a little bit later. Change in y and change in x is we think about how y is changing, right? And we can kind of see it here going from 35 to 43 is a change of 8, and then 43 from 51 is a change of 8. Good, that's consistent. So change in y is 8. Change in x here is 4. 20 to 24 is a plus 4. 16 to 20 is plus 4. So there actually is a formula that I'll show to you that several people know. A lot of people haven't seen it yet, though, okay? Change in y is this. Change in y is you take a y point, and we're going to say this is going to be the second y point here, and you subtract another y coordinate. We'll say that's from a first point here, and you set it over the x coordinate from the second point subtracted by the x coordinate from the first point. This formula looks a little bit scary, so let's maybe show you what I'm talking about here, okay? Direct your attention back to the table for a second, okay? So I can use any of these 2 points to figure out the slope here. So here we have a point 2043. I'm going to call that x1 and y1, right? This is the column of the table that's giving my x coordinates, and this is the column of the table that's giving me my y coordinates right here, okay? So we're going to say that this is our point 1, and you could do any points here, but I'm choosing these points here. These points work in the equation, so we have x1, y1, so 2043. This is x1, this is y1. And then let's use this second point, second point here. We're going to make this 0.2, so I'm going to call this x. And what you see here, this isn't an exponent. This means nothing. x1, y1, x2, because it's below the letter, this is something called subscript. Subscript in math, seldom does it mean like any sort of mathematical operation, anything funny's happening to x there. It's script, so it's meant to say it's meant to say this is what this thing is. It's meant to be sort of an organizing thing here. This 2 here means it goes with the second point that we're talking about, okay? It doesn't say mean anything else beyond that here. So 24 is x2, 51 would be y2 because it goes with our second point that we have right here, okay? So check it out, right? We have this, we have x2 and y2, and we have x1 and y1 right here, okay? 51, 24, 43, 20, that kind of thing here. So what I'm going to do to get my slope is I'm going to take my y2, which is 51, and subtract my y1 from it, which is 43. So look at this is just a formula to keep you organized being here. We need to find the change in y. That's y2 minus y1. We need to find over the change in x, which is 24 is x2, right? Look at here. x2 is 24. x1 is 20. And this is how we can find our change in y. It's the amount that x is now versus what it was previously. So 24 minus 20, that's the change in x. Our change in x would be 4, okay? And this is going to help us solve for the slope, which is 8. This is 8, right? 51 minus 43 is 8. 24 minus 20 is 4. So 8 over 4 is our slope. Of course, 8 over 4 is just 8 divided by 4. And so that equals 2. We have our slope right here. You might be thinking that was a lot of work. This is going to be easier once we have 2 points. I'll show you that how you get 2 points right here. Okay, so we have our m. That's great because now we know what our slope is, and we can substitute that into the equation. Let's do it. Okay, let's do it real quick here. So slope here is 2. That leaves us our b, finding the y-intercept. Okay, finding the y-intercept. Maybe let's save the b part for later. I'll come back to this one later. Let's get the slope of number 1 right here. Number 1 right here. Okay, so check this one out. All right, try this. In equation D, we're given 4 points. Do we need all 4 points to find the equation of a line? What if we were only given 2 of the points and we knew it was a line? Okay, we know it's a line. So through 2 points, a line can connect them. One line exists. So we can draw through it. We have 2 points. So what's the line? There's one and only one line that goes through those 2 points. What's its equation? Let's figure it out here. Okay, so let's check it out here. Remember, what we need to get in this equation is we need to get y equals mx plus b. What I always say, start with the slope, right? Start with the slope. Try to figure out slope because remember, this is just going to be, m is just going to be change in y over change in x. Or what change in y is, okay, so here's where using a formula can be helpful here. Change in y is you take the second point, find its y-coordinate, subtract the first point's y-coordinate from it, okay? That's change in y. Change in x is, well, how are the x's changing? How are the x's changing? Let's make this x2, y2, okay? So 66 is y2, 28 is x2, and let's make the other point be 0.1. So 23 is x1, and 56 is y1, okay? And now that our change in y is y2 minus y1, so that means that our change in x has got to be x2, this is the later x, minusing what x originally was, right? x1 minus x1 here. So x2 minus x1, and that's going to be how we're going to figure out our slope right now, okay? So to get our slope, we'll start with that first. M equals y2, okay? Y2 is 66, so we take our later y value, and then let's subtract the y originally was from us here, 56 here. Change in y is 10, very, very nice. What's our change in x? Well, x2 is 28, and x1 is 23, so let's do 28 minus 23. Our x got bigger by 5, so our change in x is 5 when our change in y is 10, and that's going to tell us what our rate of change is, right? Rate of change is, which is slope, and this is, 10 over 5 is what I want to have here, 10 over 5. So our slope here, m is 2, okay? M is 2. So this is starting us to get us our equation. We have here, this is going to be the 2 right there, and then we got to get b. Okay. So B is a little bit trickier, okay? B is a little bit trickier. So maybe we're going to do this in blue. Maybe we should do this top one as an example. And then you guys can, well, we can do this bottom one afterwards, kind of like you guys. There's nobody here, okay? But we'll do this one as kind of an example, then we'll do this one a bit quicker here, okay? So we know that slopes of these are both 2. Do we think their y-intercepts are the same? I don't think so. I think these are probably different problems. Yeah, these are going to be different. So anyways, now we got to get B, okay? We got to get B. Here's how we get this. This is what I'm going to call this, okay? I'm going to call this solving for B, right? Maybe you put this in your notes, right? Maybe you're just like, oh, this is something I have to do a lot, okay? Solving for B. So I have here y equals 2x plus B. I'm going to have us solve for B. This is the way that I do it. You might be wondering, well, this isn't the way it was discussed in the assignment here. I think I have an easier way to do it. So that's why I'm trying to do it this way. Okay, so we're trying to solve for B. Y equals mx plus B, right? That's the form we're trying to get in here. And this method is called the solving for B here because, believe it or not, B is the only variable here that we don't know anything about. We don't know anything about B yet. Why? What do we know stuff about the other variables, but we don't know anything about B? Well, we know what the slope is, okay? The slope is 2. Okay, slope is 2 because we figured that out earlier. But question, do we know anything about X? Do we know anything about Y? Well, of course we do. Check it out right here, for instance. What do we know about X and what do we know about Y? Well, we know that X is 12 at some point, right? That's the independent variable. We know when we input a 12 for X to this particular equation, what do we know about its output? We input 12 to this equation. What do we know about its output? Its output would have to be 27. Okay, its output would have to be 27. So the way we can get the y-intercept in this situation is, okay, solving for B. Okay, what we need to do is substitute the slope for M and X and Y values from a point, from a point to X and Y, and we need to solve for B. Are you still with me? This is kind of confusing potentially if you're doing this the first time through. Less than idea what we have going on this year. But anyways, this is the way that I would do it. Okay, I can solve for B right now. I got to figure out what my starting number is. Well, I know that my X has gone up by 12, right? X has gone up by 12. How much has my Y gone up for if we're going by 2 each time? We're going up by 24 total, so that means B's got to be 3 at the beginning. So you can reason through it differently, but this is a way that I like to do it because it's structured. You can do this very quickly in the future in your homework here, is that you can just solve for B here. So anyways, right, remember, this is an X value, this is a Y value, this is a slope. Our only unknown left is the B. We can solve an equation like this, right? We get some equation solving practice, okay? So 2 times 12 is 24 plus B equals 27. Subtract 24 from both sides, and we get B equals 3. Okay, B equals 3. Okay, because we solve for it. It makes sense that B would have to be 3 here. It's 2 times 12 is 24 plus 3, 27. And we're good to go. Okay, so we got our B. We got our B. And that's called solving for B. And now we have our equation, okay? So this assignment definitely jumped a bit in terms of like complexity, and you're like, whoa, keeping track of things. So let's keep working on those brains, keep working on trying to organize this. And let's try to now with this one, the second one we see down here, okay? Kind of hard to find our points. Sorry, guys, this is so messy. These are the points we're dealing with right here, okay? These are the points we're dealing with right here. Is 2356 and 2866 in this problem. So hopefully you're doing the second problem along with me. Let's go get and do this. Second part is solve for B. Okay, solve for B. Here's how we do this. We're going to do this nice and quick this time. Okay, what we got to do to solve for B is, again, we're solving for B in the equation of a line. We know that a line will have this equation, will have this form, but we'll know what M is, we'll know what B is. We need to determine what those are now. So let's do this. The way we solve for B is I'm going to replace M with 2, okay, because we'd already gotten our slope earlier a few minutes ago in this video. What can I replace X with? What can I replace Y with? I can replace X and Y with this information right here, okay? Because here we know when the input X is 23, then the output y is 56. We know that that's going to be true of our equation, okay? When an input of x is 23, the output of y is going to be 56. So we can just substitute those values in right here. So just take the 2 points, plug them into the equation, right? That's about it. That's really all you have to worry about here. X is 23 right here, and we just got to solve for our b, and we will do that right now. Plus b, solve for it. We got this is 46. This is still 56. We'll bring this down, plus b. That means b's got to be 10, because 46 plus 10 is 56. We could also just solve for it using our solving skills here, okay? 46 is getting added to b, so we can subtract that from both sides to get 10 here, and 10 equals b. Okay, final answer then. What we have here for our final answer here is y equals 2x plus 10 is what I hope you all get. I hope you all get here, okay? Almost getting up the third block, so I do have to run, so I'm going to try to do this super quickly. I might save this for another video. I'll just do this really quickly at the end, and that's about it. Okay, so watch the next video, and then you'll be able to know how to do your homework, hopefully. And then reach out and email me if you have any questions, okay? See you later, guys. Bye.